I'm going to be honest, lots of people get jobs even when they don't deserve to get the job. I'm not saying that that's like the right way, but it happens. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Workplace Weirdness. Today is a little weird. It's our April Fool's special, and for this episode, I've handed the mic to Dorie Clark. She's usually the one asking sharp questions everywhere else. Today, she's asking them here on Workplace Weirdness, and I'm the one answering. Dorie, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Workplace Weirdness, the non-HR HR podcast, where we dive into the strangest office situations and the most awkward workplace dramas. I'm Dorie Clark. I'm a marketing strategist. I'm the author of the USA Today and Wall Street Journal bestseller, The Long Game. I've been named one of the top 50 business thinkers in the world. And today, I'm most excited about taking my friend Maya's job as host. And she is in the hot seat as my guest. So let's get real and explore the cringy, confusing, and chaotic side of office life. So today, we're discussing bait and switch vacation days, leaked documents, and AI over reliance, plus Maya. So Maya, I'm so happy to be here, turning the tables on you. So hello.
Hi, this is fun. It's so much fun to hear you do that intro.
Well, thank you. I mean, I know that you are used to asking the questions, not answering them. So we're going to start with a quick warm up. So no pausing, no overthinking.
Okay.
Let's go. Morning person or night owl?
Now I'm more of a morning person.
K-drama or romance?
Oh, it's very hard to choose, but I've been very, very deep in the K-dramas and so good, so addictive.
Big multinational organization or boutique firm?
I guess I'm more in the boutique firm kind of mood today.
All meetings being replaced by a talking stick or a big gong that anyone can hit to end the meeting?
Talking stick, I'm thinking, because that way everybody will get their chance to speak.
New York or Miami?
That's a tough one, but right now we're feeling Miami.
That's right. Land of palm trees and pouring rain right at the
Yeah,
moment.
it's true.
Learning from a bad boss or a great one?
I've had both, and I can tell you that I've learned from both. I guess I'm going to, that's like not a good answer maybe, but like both.
You're entitled to at least one.
I mean, obviously you want a good boss, but you learn a lot from the bad boss. Yep.
Performance reviews via semaphore or emojis?
I don't know what the word semaphore means, so what does that mean? Sorry.
I think it's flags. I think that's what we're talking about.
Flags? Okay. I don't know either. So through flags or emojis, I mean, I don't understand how either of those are an effective meeting strategy. So let's just say talking with an agenda would be good. Or a conch. I mean, I think those are really underused nowadays.
Yeah. Shofar?
I like how you're so good at associative, language here. Okay, cool.
And finally, not quickfire, Maya, what was your weirdest workplace moment working on Workplace Weirdness?
So the weirdest was, I sometimes tape in a studio like this, but oftentimes I'm behind the computer on a platform that we use to tape podcasts. And one of the first times, maybe the third time that I was interviewing somebody, we started the recording. And then we were like, oh, you know what? Let's do that again. Let me just press record again. And then the program just popped us into a new room. Sounds good, right? And we just started talking and having the conversation. And an hour later, and I'm like, oh, crap. I don't think I pressed the record button. I guess when we moved into the new room, it didn't just keep recording. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. And my face went red. I was just like stressed. Luckily, I have this great producer, Felicia, and Felicia was like, how much would everybody mind doing it all again right now?
Wow.
And I was like, because I was right away like, let's meet tomorrow. I guess we'll do it again, maybe next week. She's like, I think we all are ready to go, right, everybody? And luckily the guest had time and she said, let's just do it again. I'm ready for it today.
Second time's the charm.
I would say that it was one of the better shows that we recorded. I mean, we had already practiced it. We did a full live run through, but
maybe you should rehearse all of them in advance.
All I could say is that I just felt so bad. And I was very fortunate that I had an understanding person on the other side. And yet then the whole thing was like, well, it's called Workplace Weirdness. I mean, that's at least we're on brand.
Before we continue, let's just take a second to ask you to follow and subscribe to Workplace Weirdness. It really helps the show grow, and it helps us bring you even more weird work conversations. Let's go a little deeper. Personal question number one, Maya. The category is youthful mistakes. So tell me about a time when a younger Maya made the wrong call and paid for it.
Sounds so dramatic. There could be lots of stories here, but within work, within the workplace, as a head of people, I like to be very fun. And I thought it'd be a fun idea during COVID when we were all in our houses. I thought it'd be fun to send a holiday gift, which included a nice bottle of champagne to everybody on the staff. And I thought it would be great. The unintended consequence that sort of happened from that is that we were then in a company-wide training where everybody has to have their camera on. I see somebody pouring the champagne for themselves and getting sloshed, really. And it was very uncomfortable. And I don't want to get too far, but like we had to remove them from the meeting, and it had some other consequences. But long story short, if I could take back that particular gift, I would have just done a non-alcoholic version of it.
Yeah.
I think I learned that the hard way. So,
I mean, I just want to step in. I appreciate the reflection, and maybe you're right. I don't know, but like, I don't blame you for that. That sounds like the most unprofessional thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
So
that's nice of you to say.
You didn't make that person do that.
But I think I learned a sort of more global lesson about alcohol and office temptation, and not everybody can stand that temptation well. But yeah. Anyway, but thank you. I appreciate your take on it.
To the extent that I can absolve you, I absolve you.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah.
And that brings us to the next exciting thing on the docket, which is listener questions.
All right, give it to me.
I feel like there's a document that is coming my way. Oh, here we go. Here we go. It's being brought to me. This is the viewer mailbag, people.
Exactly.
The listener question number one, it is from an employee who was promised unlimited, air quotes, paid time off. So let's check it out. Maya, my company advertises unlimited PTO, which sounded amazing at first. This year, I took a full vacation in December over the winter holidays to recharge and spend time with my family. Then, in early January, my mom got really sick and I needed to take off additional time to care for her. To my shock, I just received a caring email that, I bet this is really caring, here we go, that sounded like a warning email from HR about my time away, even though I had followed all of the PTO approval processes. A coworker confided in me that unlimited PTO is just a tactic that the company used to avoid paying out vacation time, and that management has been using similar warnings to intimidate employees into working harder without additional compensation. I'm feeling frustrated and torn. Should I go back to work while my mom isn't fully recovered, or risk further backlash from HR and my manager by using more PTO days? Maya, how would you handle this?
All right. Unlimited PTO. It's not that it's like complete fraud, but it doesn't work in a lot of cases unless you have the culture that backs up the idea that people really deserve to take as much vacation as they need. And in many cases, that's still more than some managers might be comfortable with, right? So the idea is that if you have a culture that doesn't support it, you're going to feel like it's actually a contest of who can not take vacation rather than who can take vacation. I do feel for this listener because I think that they're in a bind. It sounds like the culture of their company is not actually one that encourages vacation. They still need to take it. And technically, like if you're going to check the employee policy, they deserve those days. So I guess I'm going to tell you, listener, take it. I mean, you're entitled to it. There shouldn't be, I might look a little bit further into the employee handbook because sometimes there are recommendations on what is accepted. And if you do need a longer period off, there might be ways to get unpaid time off or like a break or some sort of disability, or there's lots of ways to be able to get time off, but maybe sometimes it's called something else. Your fear about your manager not liking it, that will happen. I feel like we need to just, call a spade a spade. It probably will not be loved by the administration, but if you need it, I think, you take it. You're entitled to it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's really interesting because obviously the idea of, unlimited time off does sound really good in theory, but in practice, people actually need guardrails and they need expectations set. Like, does unlimited mean it's really 2 weeks, but if you have a good reason, it can be 3? Or does it mean 6 weeks, but if you really need it, you can have 12? Like, there's a massive difference between those two things. And if people aren't clear, what you're left with is some people adhering to one thing in their head and other people adhering to another. And then everyone's upset because
Right.
if if I think it's actually 2 weeks and
Right.
you think it's 12, I'm going to be insanely angry at you, no matter how justified you feel you're being. So I think that clarity is kind of a gift sometimes.
Absolutely. And, at Brain Pop, we did go from a more structured time off, number of days a year to unlimited at a certain point. But we did try to create a lot of those guardrails. And one of the things that we did was we recommended the amount of days that we thought were appropriate to take off within a year. And then the other thing that I did as the chief culture officer and head of people was to encourage my managers to take time off. In other words, to role model vacation taking, because if your manager doesn't take time off, your employees are not going to take time off. So the more you can do that, that's sort of creating the culture where it's okay to take time off. That being said, there are reasons why sometimes companies do it. Sometimes it's for good publicity. Looks good on the job listing. Sometimes it's because they don't want to count do rollover days. They don't want to actually have to do the math and the accounting of how many days did this person take off, and do we give them back for those days that they didn't take off, or are we going to roll it over to the next year? There's a lot of accounting that goes into the more traditional model. If it can be encouraged and sort of nurtured by the management, I think it can work. But it's difficult. It's really difficult.
Thank you. All right. Well, listener, thank you for writing in. Good luck to your mama as well. We hope she gets better soon. All right, Maya, my next question for you. This is a personal question. What is a weird work tradition that you've encountered that made no sense?
The thing that comes to mind is one that I invented, actually. I can't, there's a bunch, but one thing that I did that some people might deem a little bit strange is that I created this sweatshirt that people would get when they left the job. And it said that you were an alumnus of the company. And the only weird thing about that is that if you left the job under unsavory circumstances, you weren't going to get a sweatshirt. That wasn't happening. So it was always weird when people would call me later and be like, hey, I never did get my sweatshirt. And I wanted to explain to them, yeah, that's because it wasn't so pretty what just happened last week, whatever. Anyway.
Well, I actually love that. I mean, it reminds me of college, right? It's if you graduate successfully with your diploma, you get your special parting gift.
Absolutely.
And if you flunk out, you get nothing. So I'm right there with you. I think that's great.
My whole idea with it was, of course, that every place you go in your career is a stepping stone to the next place. So you do think nostalgically and lovingly back on the place, and wouldn't it be nice to have, some sort of memento of that time? So anyway,
no,
that's what
it's
it's all
so
about.
true. When my mom got sick, of course I'm rummaging around in her closets trying to find clothes for her at the hospital and stuff like that. And I discovered she still has my polar fleece from the Howard Dean presidential campaign.
Aw.
It gets too much cat fur on it, so it's not good if you have cats. But my mom loves wearing my Howard Dean polar fleece. Our next question is from a job applicant worried that they may have relied a little too much on AI during an interview. Let's hear from them. Hey, Maya. During a recent remote interview for a job I really want, I may have leaned on AI a little too heavily. It was really mostly just helping my nerves. The problem is I just got called for an in-person follow-up interview. I am not sure if they suspected something during the first interview because there was a time when the interview asked, where was I looking? I am definitely not going to fess up. It will kill my chances entirely. But how do I pass this interview and also make it look normal that I am doing less well in person? Should I fake being sick? Oh boy. Also, bonus stress. My brain keeps making worst case scenarios where that first interview calls HR mid-interview to confront me. Wow. I mean, honestly, they just probably wouldn't hire you. But
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Go, Maya.
I was going to say the same thing. It's I love how this person's, I'm sorry, listener. I understand this is a genuine question, but I love how you're now scared, but you weren't thinking about the consequences of maybe like cheating on the interview originally. And now, of course, like HR as the policeman coming in and, I don't know what, like busting you.
On the plus side, they're already visualizing themselves having the job. So I guess that's something.
Yeah, I guess to be honest, if you needed to rely on some, whatever, look up a fact or something, you probably could say, hey, I don't know that off the top of my head, but I'll look it up later. That's one thought. And then beyond that, again, if you were audacious enough to lie on the interview, on the first interview, you probably should try and do it on the second interview. I don't know. I don't know what I would say exactly. I wouldn't now fake being sick because it doesn't make a lot of sense. And perhaps they will appreciate your audaciousness and your taking charge. Who knows? The worst that could happen is that you don't get the job, and that's okay too.
Yeah, it's interesting. My wife is a professor that, she sort of walks around the classroom, and there was a student that she discovered that she ended up walking sort of behind him, and she saw his screen, and he had ChatGPT open, and the prompt was, what is a question I can ask to sound smart?
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness. I think the rubber meets the road when you actually have to interact with people live and in person, and they sort of see what you're capable of. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like the chances are, I'm going to be honest, lots of people get jobs even when they don't deserve to get the jobs. And it does have to do with sometimes your kind of overconfidence in certain situations. I'm not saying that that's like the right way, but it happens. They might be able to succeed. We don't know. It, of course, depends what industry we're talking about. This is not, you can't ace, your neurosurgery exam or whatever by not knowing neurosurgery, but there are other places where it's more about your soft skills, or it's more about the way you can show up that you might be able to succeed, again depending on what industry we're talking about.
Yes, so listener, do not pretend to be sick. Trust yourself. Give it a go. Be yourself. You don't need AI as a crutch. Try it out. Now it's time for personal question number 3. The category, Maya, is overheard moments. Have you ever overheard something at work that you weren't supposed to?
So I worked at a family company, and for better, for worse, lots of different people within my family worked there. And so sometimes you could overhear people sort of like either complaining about somebody or saying, rolling their eyes and being like, oh, this person XYZ. And so that was very uncomfortable. But I think the worst sort of formation of that would be when there was actually a Glassdoor post posted about me. And it was really not nice. It was very mean. And so it wasn't exactly like overhearing, but all of a sudden you're like, I'm the subject of this very uncomfortable thing. I don't know. I felt really like frozen, I guess. I didn't even know how to handle it. And actually, that's what I was talking about. That's when I called you that time. I was like really beside myself.
So when you're in that place, how do you get past it? Like, what did you do, or what did you tell yourself so that you just stop dwelling on this 24/7?
I don't know exactly. Like, I think I was dwelling on it for a little while, even though it's kind of like the stages of grief, right? Like you get angry, then you get sad, then you get then you're bargaining with yourself, then all kinds of stuff. You're kind of like, what do I do with this? I take feedback very personally. In general, like when I'm given feedback in a management type situation, I always try to improve, and I listen to that feedback. But the way this particular post was written, I didn't really know what to do with that except for stop being me. I don't know. You can't do anything with that. So I had to tell myself, listen, you're doing the best that you can. Some people are going to like it. Some people are not. Some people are going to understand it. Some people are not. Mostly it wasn't useful information. So I just put it aside. And I know that's hard. Not an easy thing for everybody to do. And it wasn't easy for me either, but I eventually just let go of it. But you see that as soon as you asked me the question, I do remember it. It stung a little bit.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to go through, but you made it. You did it.
Yeah.
So every week we cover a cringe-worthy workplace moment that makes everyone uncomfortable. So this week's question comes from an employee accused of leaking confidential information. Dear Workplace Weirdness, recently some internal confidential information was leaked within the company. Stuff that only a small handful of people have access to. Almost everyone who would normally have access who was on vacation, except for me. But now my manager seems to think that I'm the person who leaked it, but I did not leak anything. I didn't share anything with anyone, and I wouldn't do that, but I can't prove I didn't do it. So there's no objective information. There's no surveillance footage or independent logs I can point to show that I didn't access or forward the information. It is just my word against their assumption. So I can't even call the police because the company hasn't officially said anything to me yet. So how do I defend myself when I can't prove that I didn't do it? Should I just stand up in the next town hall and declare my innocence? What should this person do, Maya?
It's a tough one because honestly, you know that you didn't do this thing and possibly you were even framed. I don't know, but I do think it would be helpful to get to the manager first. Before they hear it from somebody else, they should hear it from you. And it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to sound like you're being defensive or whatever, but at least you're telling your story and it'll be authentic because you're telling them first. I think that's also your job on some level, is also to be like to sound the alarm when there is a crisis of some sort. Of course, this crisis does not look good for you, but at least you're sort of being upstanding in the fact that you're bringing attention to the larger issue.
I think that makes tons of sense. I mean, it's always so weird when there's something like, I know that you know, and you know that I know, and somehow we're not saying anything or addressing it, and we're all kind of pretending in this weird dance. Like
Right.
it's just not helpful for anyone. Even if it is awkward, the alternative of sort of raising your hand and saying, hey, there's this thing I didn't do, which, admittedly does sound weird.
Right.
It is, speaking of workplace weirdness, it is less weird than having this kind of performative dance where no one's actually saying what's on their mind.
Right. Absolutely. If they've already kind of created a reputation of being a person who you could trust, that manager or HR or anybody that they decide to turn to as a sort of trusted person within the office should be in their corner. I mean, I think that there's also a way to gauge, like who that right person is, but certainly telling somebody is going to be a help. Yeah. So listener, I do hope that you're able to find the right person and be able to get in front of the story before it sort of spirals out of control.
Yeah. Thank you, Maya. That's great. And we are now doing our final turn the tables question. So Maya, what is a work moment that you replayed in your head for days?
It's kind of good that you're here because I think this is actually something that happened while we were talking often. I'm going to be honest. I sometimes even today, kind of think about this and I'm like, ugh, I can't believe that didn't happen. There was an employee who was was inadequate basically in their role. And at one point they came to me or to somebody else and said, I'm going to resign. Rather than sort of taking this person up on that, the management team decided that this was probably a threat to get more salary and that they were going to meet that threat and, and pay more money for the person to stick around. And I was really of the mind that if they resigned, great. Let's go with it. Let's figure it out around this person rather than sort of yield to the pressure of people quitting in order to get something. And it still kind of irks me to this day because I think the whole time period could have been different if we had let go of this person instead. So instead it sort of snowballed into larger issues and more crises rather than really letting go of somebody who probably needed to be let gone of. Is that good grammar? I'm not even sure. Be let gone.
Works for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's workplace weirdness. Let's go grammar. So weird.
But no, that makes so much sense. And in my experience, it's exactly right. If someone is not a good fit or if they're problematic in any way, it is hard and it is painful. And a lot of people around you will be scared because they'll say, oh, but we can't lose this person, or what will we do? None of these are good reasons. You need to expunge them because they will stick around and they will create more drama and create more problems. I have seen it so many times.
Yeah.
So I think you're spot on.
And sometimes I still want to call up the CEO and be like, let's talk about that time. Wasn't I right? Come on. You try to be as influential as you can in a role, in a management team role. And sometimes, a lot of times you can be.
You're doing this show so that other people don't have to live through the same thing.
Absolutely. You get me. You really get me. This is why I'm so happy that you're here.
That's right. That's right. You're paying it forward here.
Thank you. Yeah.
I love it. Well, Maya, it's been fantastic turning the tables on you today. So thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this. I'm so excited for you in the show and the fact that you're doing this. I mean, it's just really cool.
I'm loving the opportunity to get to talk with the likes of you and other wonderful guests. And I'm learning so much along the way.
Well, thank you. I think you're doing fantastic.
It's really been a blast. I really enjoyed this. You're a pro.
Thank you so much.
You know why I lifted this up? Because I wanted to cheers you. I thought this would be the best way to end, is to give you a cheers, but I don't think we can reach each other. This is like,
I know, maybe with a split screen, right? Like we go,
oh yeah, we can try to like,
cheers.
listeners, if you've got a workplace weirdness of your own, visit workplace-weirdness.com and click on Share Your Story. We might feature you in an upcoming episode. Until next time, keep working, and whenever possible, stay weird. Today's show is produced by me, Maya Kadar Kovalsky, and Felicia Wang, and written by Dana Burnell Lowe. Ohad Salmon is our strategist, and Barry Rowan is our digital media specialist. Thank you to our production partners at Podify, as well as The Move Miami. A special thanks goes to Dorie Clark for hosting today's episode. Thanks to you for listening to Workplace Weirdness. Make sure you're subscribed to our show on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll be back next time for another breakdown of all things weird from a workplace near you.